A lot has happened, a lot will happen, and today I'm going to bring you the latest news of GPU.net because their node sale has gone live. Everybody's spending money because we all hope to make money in the future. So let me tell you everything there is to know. Now, before we start with the first update, which is their backing, let me tell you that I've made a dedicated video on GPU.net. Be sure to check it out before you watch this video and then come back again. So they have announced their 5.25 million backing as part of their Series A raise. They mentioned their partners as well as their most notable key opinion leaders, which are Alex Becker and Elio Trades. They've actually mentioned this project into their videos as well, so that's a very bullish signal for most people. And then they mention a bunch of VCs that are backing them. Now, if we go to my notes, because I've written everything down, because this is a lot to deliver to you. They have sold around 8,000 nodes already, and currently they are at tier 6. Now, what's good to know is that tier 1 to 4 is open for the public. Then we've got tier 5, which is for the key opinion leaders, so for the influencers like me, for instance. Then you've got tier 6, which is for the public again. And then the VCs come in at tier 7. So keep that in mind. And that's why most people say that this is still a good deal if you get in before tier 7, because after that, a lot more people will join. Now, they are also doing a giveaway of $500,000. Now, not everybody is as happy with it, but they are giving back to the community. They've got a breakdown, which is $250 for wallets that got more than 5 nodes. And then the highest one is $25,000 for wallets with more than 100 nodes. Now, they were going to have this set till April 11th, I think, or have it run till April 11th. And now they have extended it to May 11th. That's when the snapshot will be taken. So up until that date, you have the option to get more nodes and then qualify for this criteria. And if you're watching this after this date, be sure to join me on my free Telegram and on my Twitter, because I always share the news there first before I make a video about it, because these videos take a lot of time to make. Right. The next thing I want to talk about, and that's actually one of the things that was requested the most, is their rewards calculator. Now, they've put it online. I've had a look. So here we have the website, gonchain.gpu.net. It's their layer 1 blockchain. I'm going to talk about it in a minute. And they have this link, the reward calculator. It pops up, and then you can select the quantity of nodes that you have, and then you can select the token price that they have. So let's say they started at $1. So let's say they had a 3x, so it's $3, and you have one node. You will have a return of 49,599, which is much more than what the node has cost. However, here's the catch. This number is a lifetime reward, and that's the whole reason why I'm pretty bummed out about this calculator. If you compare it to, let's say, maybe Xseed, who shows you returns on a daily and a monthly and a yearly basis. So this one only shows you a lifetime basis, and that's very hard to calculate into months or weeks or whatever your preference is. So I think they can update it, or should update this, to give us a little bit more info and to be a little bit more transparent about the returns, because this is also based on circumstances. So like your node health, the time it's being up. So if there's something going off, or if there's something wrong with running the node, your rewards will be lower, obviously. Now, this is for the validator. For the provider, it's the same exact thing, but keep that in mind. So this node calculator, for me personally, isn't giving me a lot of info. Right, let's go on to the next topic of this video, which I will have to read from my notes because it's a lot of information to remember, and I'm all over the place with my ADHD brain. So one of the questions being asked was about the nodes. Now, the nodes that you buy are actually keys, and those keys have to be turned into nodes. So that means you have to run the nodes, right? So they give you the option to run a node. Now, the project offers 3 different types of nodes, which all require other attributes. You've got validator nodes, provider nodes, and you've got queen nodes. And then they will have a test net first, and then they will move on to the mainnet. Now, during the test net phase, validators will have to stake 100 G points, which is $100, because 1 G point is $1. Now, during the mainnet phase, you have to have 1,000 G points. So that means you need to have $1,000 worth of G points. Now, for those that own a node, they will get airdropped 530 33 G points at TGE, which means that participating in the testnet requires you to buy $100 worth of G points and then 477 extra G points for the TGE, because that's when the mainnet goes live, and that's when you need 1,000 and you only get airdropped 533. Now, someone also asked if you need to have your computer run 24/7, and the answer for that is yes, unless you use a VPS service. Now, their dashboard is now live as well, so you can use that to see how many nodes you have minted, and you can check if that matches up with your transactions. And then if anything is wrong, be sure to contact their team, and I'm pretty sure they will help you out. Now, about the TGE of this project is around Q2 or early Q3. June has been mentioned in the chat before, but it's not certain yet, and this token sale has been closed, so that means it's no longer active anymore. So you can't participate in the token sale anymore. You can only participate in the node sale anymore, because they stated as well that they are not looking to raise more funds. So that's a done deal, and there's nothing we can do about it. Now, one thing from me personally is that I see a lot of people entering the chat and then ask a question that's literally like 5 lines above them, right? Or like maybe 10 lines above them. And personally, I think that if that's your mindset going into a project, you shouldn't invest in it. I'm just going to be honest with you. Maybe you'll unsubscribe from my channel. Maybe you'll leave a hate comment. I hope you do. But you don't belong in crypto. You need to do some sort of research and don't expect anything to be handed over to you on a plate, right? So the team is doing their best as well. I've been following this project for about 2 months. Not everything is great about this project. I'll talk about it in a minute. But what I do know is that as soon as they like not respond for an hour or 2 hours after the node launch, it was like, oh, they've abandoned us and what's going on. And look, those guys have been busy. They have been building. They go to meetings. They go to that Dubai conference the other day, or Dubai 2049 or something like that. You know, they're very busy. They're doing their best. So if you just come in, ask a question, want an answer, and can go away, I don't think this project or any project is for you. So keep that in mind. The community always wants to help. I always want to help with giving an answer if a question is being asked. You can also join my free Telegram, which is linked down below, where we discuss all kinds of different projects. But be sure to put in a little bit of work and not expect to go in and get rich within 5 minutes. Right, moving on to the next one, which is that I have been creating a couple of videos on GPU.net. You have seen me being very positive about the project, but does that mean that everything that's going on in the project is to my liking? Well, the answer to that question is no. Now, I have a lot of cuts, and that's because I'm all over the place. But the reason is that, first, what I noticed is that information is being released like in increments. So it's just like small little bits, you know, moving forward, it's small little bits, and that kind of gives me the idea that the team is figuring out this project while they're on the go. And that's something that could put people off from this project. Another thing is that the community, so you guys probably that are watching this, are asking very good questions. And what I notice is that the questions are being asked, and then the answer is being given, and then it's being implemented, or then it's being implemented and then the answers are being given. So in my opinion, if you have a project of this size with this idea, you'd rather have everything like set in stone. And it's impossible to do so because there are always things you run into while on the go, but certain basic things can definitely be handled beforehand rather than after the fact, right? So that's something that made me think about this project in a more negative way rather than a positive way. I'm still positive, but I hope you catch my drift, right? Then another thing was that the documents about the nodes were released moments before the node sale, and so they were pushing out the node sale, but a lot of information wasn't there. The node calculator wasn't there. The documents weren't there. We didn't know what the rewards were going to be for the node. Nobody knew how the node had to be run. Nobody knew the criteria for running the node, but yet they expected everybody to buy a node, and that's not a very smart and intelligent move, in my opinion. If you have a project of this size, it would have been much better to have all those things ready beforehand and then push out the node sale like full blast, full marketing, everybody on board, and then, you know, make some noise about it. So another thing is that the reward calculator, I've already mentioned it, it's a lifetime reward calculator, so it's not really of any use for me personally. Another thing, here's a funny fact, which is if we go to the website of the node calculator, right, these links don't work. I can't even even click on the docs. I can't click on X, Telegram, what is this, Reddit or Discord? No, Reddit, LinkedIn, Discord, Medium. They don't work. Introducing GoneChain, proof of commute. Click on there. Doesn't work. It's just buy a series note. Doesn't work. So that doesn't look very professional to me. I mean, the website looks professional. It looks good, you know, and they explain something. But if you launch something like this, be sure to have those links clickable. You know, why isn't this working? That's very, very strange. And I'd rather have, and this is something which kind of fits the profile I have of this project, which they should have done beforehand rather than having to fix it after the fact. Right. Then the final thing is that they had an AMA yesterday. Now, one thing they were talking about in this AMA was that owning a node also has a factor of a multiplier. And this is designed to make their blockchain more decentralized. Now, the logic behind that is that in the early days, the people running the nodes are less or owned by a few people, right? So for those who do own more nodes, do not want to have them run more than one validators because that serves no purposes. And that's the reason they have a node multiplier. So if you have 3 nodes, instead of running it as 3 validators, you can run it as a single validator and still get a 3-time reward. And then there are more incentives. So if you have 5, you get a 5x and you get that 1.25x multiplier, so that amount. And that multiplier all depends on the amount of nodes that you have, which you can find in their documents. Now, there's a tier system in the documents as well, where you can see what the multiplier is and how many nodes you need for a certain multiplier. Now, in May, they are planning to mention the date, the exact date that your nodes can be ran. And on their testnet, you can earn G points. Now, G points get you a 1-to-1 airdrop to G points in the mainnet. So the G points in the testnet will be a 1-to-1 airdrop to the G points in the mainnet. Now, 2 million G point tokens have been allocated for this. And G points are also being bought by retail for an airdrop when mainnet goes live. So please note it. And once those 2 million have been spent, the mainnet will go live, or at least that's what the CEO has told us. Now, one big thing about running the nodes is important to know as well. They work with, let's say, node ops, and that allows you to just run your node with one click of the button. So that helps you prevent becoming too technical, or helps you prevent having to search all kinds of things on how to set up a node. The downside to that is that you do have to pay a fee for that, which will, you know, diminish or lower your return on investment. But for the non-technical people, that's definitely an outcome. Nodes can be ran also with a VPS like Amazon Web Services or Contabo, so stay tuned for that. And then another question was, when will the tokens be released? Well, it's about 3 months from now. That's what they estimate. It depends on the G point tokens being consumed. And once those 2 million from the testnet are up, mainnet goes live, and so will GGEB. Now, how to get G points, because that's the currency that you need to rent the GPUs. You can buy them on their dApp. You need USDC.E, and you can buy 1 G point for 1 USDCE. Now, there was a question in the AMA about marketing, right? And it's something that always nags me a little bit, because we as influencers, we make these videos, and then basically what we can do is create a great thumbnail and then leave it up to the community. If you don't comment on this video, if you don't like this video, if you don't subscribe to my channel, or if you don't search for Crypto with Rico, GPU.net in the search bar of YouTube, then this video won't get picked up. Other videos won't get picked up from GPU.net. You as a community are a very, very big factor in the success of the marketing. So we can only design something, and then it's up to you guys to carry it out and to share it everywhere that you can. So that's my request to you. If you think the team is lacking, or the project, or any project for that matter, is lacking in the marketing department, it's probably because you aren't sharing it enough. So keep that in mind. Help us all out. We make these videos. Takes a lot of time. We put a lot of effort in it, but we surely hope that you share it. Right. Then the final topic I want to talk about is their GoneChain. Now, their GoneChain is a layer 1 blockchain designed to revolutionize access to GPU computing power. Now, the GoneChain introduces a unique ecosystem for decentralized GPU compute provisions and consumption by leveraging the substrate framework and its modular architecture. How does it work? They've got a documents page where they explain how the blockchain, or the GoneChain, works. If you want to know everything about it, be sure to follow the link in the description down below, where you can read all about their L1 blockchain and why it makes a difference. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Doei!